Hi guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site. Links are in the description down below, and we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by the Gorillaz, and that's Let Me Out. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. Now thus far I must admit the new Gorillaz album has yet to really impress me with these last few outings. Sure, we still have a ton of tracks still on their way with crazy collaborations to boot, a good 20 tracks or so, but I've yet to listen to a track that has really grabbed me in like perhaps some older Gorillaz material, and I appreciate what they are trying to go for here with this very flexible and developmental sound, but I just feel that they keep releasing worse than average genre set pieces. Like they'll release a dancehall track which is like a bad dancehall track, or they'll release a hip-hop track and it'll be like a bad hip-hop track, or even a rock track and it will be a bad rock track. So should we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, I actually enjoyed it a fair bit, and in my opinion it's their best pre-release of this Humans album to date. It has industrial elements, emo electronica elements, and even a backdrop of soul. I think Pusha T sounds surprisingly strong on this record, and I found his bars engaging and his flow pretty darn catchy. I can't say I was a big fan of Mavis Staples, and although I like the juxtaposition of industrial hip-hop and gospel soul, I just felt her crooning had no aim to it and no stability either. I found as if she was just wailing and shouting at me rather than actually singing. I also felt that the track ended a bit prematurely, as the final few bars of the track are really exciting and they start building and building to this climax that never comes. I really enjoyed the ending of this track, but it felt it needed a little bit more. This might change dependent on where it's actually placed on the record, but as a single I find it a little bit frustrating. When it comes to the production of this track, I think everything sounds much crisper and more precise than their last few outings, since we don't have ridiculous auto-tune or unmixed elements in said production. I also thought that the little electronic bass bump slash stab sounded great to give a slightly atypical muted bass timbre into that low ground, which I felt was wholesome and thick and just tonal and exciting, which is a little bit different. The percussion has a sweet edge to it that is both profound and cutting, often seeping into that foreground, which I don't usually like, but it did add a lot of impact into the transitions and the final syllables of certain phrases. I also thought both vocal tracks sounded really good, and I'm glad that the gating was actually left at a minimum here, since it brought out each artist's natural voices and organic tones much better. So all in all, a very solid production cycle. Musicality wise, the track has many different things going for it, each of which I do think could have been extended upon, as I've already hinted at, but I think they did the job for now. I thought Pusha T sounded great and he opened the track up really nicely for me, as I've already said. I thought Damon sounded great on this record too when he did pipe up, and I'm almost irritated at this point that he doesn't feature on his own tracks from this upcoming album a little more, because this has to be the third track that has been released in a row now, which I think he's one of the best bits about, yet he only sort of appears for a couple seconds, a couple sequences, and that's about it. I thought he sounded great on this record and he suited the instrumentation very well. All the EQs are tight and well handled on this record. The homophonic electronic ostinato sounds great too, working both with and against the vocal melodies really well throughout this track. And I also thought the track had a dark anthemic quality to it, which is quite rare in the mainstream right at this moment anyway. This track just needed that extra section though, or two, or just a little more decoration just to push it over the edge, because I did feel that it set itself up really well, but it just shut down, sort of like I've already said, prematurely. Lyrically, the track is politically driven yet again, and this seems to be an ongoing theme with their brand new album. However, I think this is handled much better than the track with Benjamin Clementine, and I think the subtlety and performances allowed the lyrics to feel a little more nuanced perhaps. So all in all, a pretty solid track, and the only track I've really heard of the upcoming Gorillaz album, which I actually think I'll be listening to again throughout this week. So I gave it a G rating of 7 out of 10, which is well above average. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.